Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Tuesday, December 8th, 2009. This morning I thought I'd go through the modeling tool in ObjectStudio 8 because it's gotten a facelift in this release and it looks a little different. So let's load the application from here, scroll down until we see modeling tool. So here it is, hit load. That'll take a moment to come in. Now once that's in, you can just close this and you'll see you've got the icon right here in the launcher. We can launch it by double clicking and you're prompted immediately with create a new model. So let's say, okay, we'll create a new model. And I can name this just by clicking here in the in-place editor. So let's call this person model. We're going to come up with a very simple model. And what we want to do is right click here and say I want a new, let's say class. And we'll call the class person. And then we'll come over here and say I want a new attribute. And what I'm doing is kind of designing my object here in the tool instead of designing it in the browser. So I'm going to give it a name, then we'll give it one more thing. We'll say new attribute, and we'll say email. Alright, so that's generated all of those attributes. I've got my class, but it's not synchronized with the system yet. And also, one thing I should mention is the modeling tool and the mapping tool are not really completely hooked up in the 8.2 release. That's something that's coming in a follow-on release. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and synchronize this out. So to synchronize this, I go to the Tools, Synchronize Implementation, and it's going to offer to synchronize in the ObjectStudio namespace my model with a new class. I can give this package a name, so let's call it Person Model Package. And I could specify a different namespace if I want. I'm going to let it default to ObjectStudio, so I'll hit Synchronize, and it's going to go ahead and synchronize that. So I'll go ahead and continue. And now let's move this out of the way and see what happened. So I'll go ahead and browse the system. And with a browser up, let's go ahead and find class. Person, there it is in namespace ObjectStudio. So there's my class. And I have a bunch of generated things here that I'm not going to worry too much about. But let's go ahead and say I have email, I have these accessors. Notice that it's all generated here. Let's go ahead and do some interaction now. I can also add methods directly in the modeling tools. If I right click on person, notice under new I now have the option of writing a method. And this will allow me to put it right here in line. So I'm going to say a testing method has email address. And let's make this something very simple. So we'll say answer email not nil. So we can accept this one of two ways. We can either hit Control S or by right clicking you'll notice there's a save option. So we save that. And by going over to the browser, you'll see the has email address is here, same way it was over here in our model. So let's expand that back out. And you can see that there it is. Now, I can also go in the other direction. I could go ahead and say, let's add another test method. Let's go ahead and say has name. And we'll change this to name not nil. We'll accept it here. We'll go back over to our model. And you see there in our model, there it is. It's appeared in here as well. So once I've synchronized my model and my system, the two are in sync until I decide they shouldn't be. So changes I make in one place will be reflected in the other. I can work back and forth between this interface here and the one down below. Now again, in future releases, this will also be extended to work with the mapping tool so that once you define something here in the modeling tool through this kind of methodology, you can immediately map it over to a database. That functionality isn't there yet, but it's coming. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.